Big Book of Madness is a cooperative deck-building set collection hand management game set in a magical school. The game supports 2 to 5 players and takes about 90 minutes to play. The Big Book of Madness is a challenging cooperative game in which players are magic students who must work as a team to shut a magical book of creatures that they opened. Oops. It looks like Harry has been caught in the restricted section again, or Raylar Kvoth managed to sneak through the underthing. Aye, well, either way, the team must turn all the pages of the book, all the while attempting to defeat the creatures they released, then shut it by defeating the worst of the terrible monsters they've just freed. Each player is given their own element deck that they build during the game and use for several purposes. The elements can be used to learn a new spell. Here, we trade in 2 water cards for a level 1 water spell. The deck can also be used to cast a spell by discarding the cards required to activate it. Or, the deck can be used to add a new element to their deck. And finally, the deck can be used to destroy or heal a madness card. So let's take another look at those spell cards. As you buy them, they sit off to the side to be activated by your deck. So they are always ready until you use them. When you use them, you turn them 90 degrees to the side. They only refresh at the beginning of your turn. Spells allow you to support your playmates, improve your deck, draw cards, etc. Alright, let's go back to those monsters. You need to remember that the monsters from the book fight back. Let's turn that first page. Each monster comes with a terrible curse that they triggered when they are first opened up. The curses are laid out when the page is first turned. On each player's subsequent turn, they spend their actions trying to remove the curses. Otherwise, the curse effects take place. The curse effect takes place when the book token is moved on top of the curse location. These curses will make you discard elements, add madness cards to your deck, or lose spells. But if you do discard the right cards, the monster is defeated and the next page is turned. If you manage to defeat the final monster, you win the game. Hello and welcome back to Gamers Remorse. Today we're taking a look at The Big Book of Madness by IELLO. This game has actually probably been out for a little under a year now, but it's been doing really well on the market. We actually were sent a copy and we figured it was about time to put out a review for it. So overall, Brian, what do you think about gameplay?
Yeah, I thought it played really well. I love cooperative games. You just have to make sure that you house rule ways to avoid alpha gamers, because no one likes an alpha gamer. And, you know, so it's really easy to do that. Just make sure no one's taking control. I thought it worked really well. There were moments of dread, moments where you're like, this is almost too easy. Oh, and then that happened. So I thought it was really good. The end was kind of anticlimactic. We were able to finish it on, like, the second round of the last era, essentially, because we had managed to build up really good spells and everything. But yeah, I thought it played very well. I liked it. You guys agree, disagree?
I agree. It was interesting to do this kind of deck building game as a cooperative, as opposed to like just I'm gonna accumulate to gain points to win. This is just, you know, okay, deck building to help, you know, the other people on your team. So it was a really interesting take on it. I really enjoyed it.
I also enjoyed the set collection aspect of it, right? So generally I think of set collection as sort of like a single player sort of a thing. This was a cooperative set collection, also adding in elements of deck building. It was very unique, and you were able to chain all of these different functions together by the spells, and you quickly learned that. That was super interesting to watch. Also, I really liked how you got to build the spell book in the beginning, or the Grimoire as they call it. You were essentially randomly choosing which monsters were going to come out of the book, and that probably varies the gameplay quite a bit. I played this a number of times, and every time it's radically different. I will say this last time it was a little anticlimactic, but there have been other times where it goes right up to the finish.
Yeah.
So, gameplay was very good on this game, I would say. Stylistically, I think, Eric, you were talking about how you really like Yellow's artwork. What aspects did you like most?
I think everything was very clear. I mean, you knew which elements were which. You could tell, like, I wasn't able to see the monsters initially right up the bat, just because, distance. But like being able to like look at the monsters as they were kind of like being released, it was like, okay, and each monster had its own like unique look, and I think the artwork is just really well done. So.
Yeah, I really like each of the different characters, I have pretty much Luna, Lovegood, oops. Copyright infringement. Luna character, basically, this white-haired chick with an owl on her shoulder, Windcaster. You had this octopus
fire dude.
Yeah, you had a fire dude. And his face is very Draco Malfoy, by the way. Maybe not the shape of it, but just the scowl. It's right there. That's quite interesting. I just loved the artwork, and Yellow always does a fantastic job with that. I don't think I've ever seen a game where I was like, I don't know.
Yep.
So,
I totally agree.
Graphic designer,
I totally agree.
No talk about Papyrus or
they
Comic
didn't use
Sans.
it. Didn't use either. It was great.
All right, fair enough. What about? I think theme's next.
Pretty sure theme's next.
Yeah, tell me about theme. What do you think?
I thought the theme was great. I mean, I love
Pacing's next. Tell me about pacing, Brian.
I thought it was paced really well. I mean, you're just taking turns going through, doing actions and collecting stuff. Being cooperative, there's not a whole lot of room for analysis paralysis. Because if you're stuck, you might just be like, guys, what do you recommend? And then people are able to help you out.
That was nice.
So yeah, I thought it played really quickly. It didn't seem like it took a long time. Like I looked at the time from when we started to when we finished, and I was like, oh wow, it is a 60 to 90 minute game, but it didn't feel like it. Like it felt like you didn't have that long, this is taking forever. The cooperativeness helps because on all of your turns we're collaborating, so you're not just sitting here waiting. What are your guys' thoughts?
I would agree. I mean, I think the only times like you weren't really waiting like in between your turn either. So like, I mean, you can kind of like take a look at your hand and know what was coming up next. So you kind of had to work towards as well as like what they might need as well. So it was just easy to just kind of delegate what you needed to do to help while it wasn't your turn. So it was just like a very, very well-paced game.
Yeah, that groupthink aspect you were just talking about was really interesting because we were able to sequence it because you can see who's going to go on which task that they have to get done before the big baddies come out and we get cursed. And so we could actually say, oh, okay, you have to go for fire, you have to go for wind, I have to go for earth. Oh, I don't have any earth cards. Who can help me out? We were able to pace it that way. But I think one place where we had problems was with the spells, right? Because you could basically chain multiple of those. And as the game goes on, it starts to get more and more in depth. And I think there were a couple of times where you were like, I have no idea what just happened, but sounds good.
Yeah.
So I think those areas might have been the pacing problems, but that's also where the depth comes in, all of the strategy. I wouldn't get rid of it. I mean, that was a blast.
Yeah.
So, theme-wise, what do you think, Eric?
I mean, to not copyright infringe, I felt like I was at a certain school for
hogs and warts.
Yes, other gifted children.
X-Men. Wait.
Oh wait. But yeah, no, I mean, because like you were accumulating, you had the Grimoire to start off with, like right off the bat. Monsters were being released. You were accumulating your spell book yourself as time was going on, and you were, gathering the components to cast these spells. So I thought the theme was really well executed.
I would agree. I mean, maybe there's a little bit more mysticism here with the different elementals being more involved than Harry Potter, but overall, yeah, I mean, it had that same feel. It definitely delivered on the you're at a magic school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Agreed.
Blast. Easy to learn. So, again, I read the rule book and taught most of it wrong, as I am wont to do. But, it wasn't bad, because then there were questions. There's like, how do we do this again? And you could quickly find it in the rule book. Here's what you do with the madness cards. Here's how you discard them or destroy them.
We corrected you, as is equally common.
Right. So it was, for being this much of a deep game, it was fairly simple to learn, I would say.
Yeah.
And then replayability. Would you guys play it again?
Oh,
Yeah,
easily.
especially with the varied grimoire. Each game's different.
Yep.
So.
Yep, and there's promo monsters as well, so they're constantly
So buy
adding
an
characters
icon.
as well.
Yeah, I could almost see an expansion in the works for this.
I hope
but
so.
as it is, I'd say it's pretty solid. 3 different levels of difficulty. I think it's all in there. So.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Our score will be down below, and that was the Big Book of Madness by IELLO. It's available pretty much everywhere. So give it a look at your family local game store or wherever you buy games. All right. Thanks, guys.
My guy came in quite handy with his 6 spells and multiple growths.
Oh my.
Sounds so wrong.
Yeah, he's not very popular with the ladies.
But man, is he effective.